I have Sauerbraten today for you to make. It's delicious. It takes a while to make. In fact, it takes about a week to marinate, but so good and so delicious. Let's get cooking.
Here is what you're going to need for your Sauerbraten. The items go by quickly, but don't worry, as we will be covering them throughout the recipe, as well as the amounts. There's a couple of things you may not have in your pantry, the whole cloves as well as the juniper berries. And if you go to Grow with Dr. Joanette, there's a link there for where you can get them on Amazon. You're going to want to get a enamel-coated Dutch oven or possibly some sort of non-reactive, non-metal container to make the marinade in and marinate the roast in. You're going to start with a cup of water and you're going to add to that 3 cups of red wine, as well as 2 cups of red wine vinegar. It's the vinegar that reacts with the metal, which is why you want something that is non-metallic. To the broth, you are going to add all of the vegetables. You will need 1 large leek, 2 large carrots, 3 cloves of garlic. All of those are going to be chopped and added to the liquid. In addition to that, you are going to add a number of different herbs and spices. Small or 1 large bay leaf, about 5 inches of rosemary or a tablespoon of dried rosemary, a teaspoon of mustard seed, some whole cloves, some black pepper, and some juniper berries, 6 whole cloves and 12 whole juniper berries. That is a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. The whole mustard seed is 1 teaspoon. Stir that all up and bring it to a boil on medium-high. Let it simmer for about 10 minutes, cover it while it's simmering, and then take it off the burner and let it cool completely. Once it's cool, pour it over your roast, put the roast in the bottom of your Dutch oven, pour all of that delicious vegetables and marinade over it, and let it soak in that marinade for about 1 to 2 weeks. While it's marinating, about once a day, take it out, take the roast top to bottom, and this way it all gets marinated and extra tender. Once it's all marinated, at the end of 1 to 2 weeks, I usually marinate it at least 1 week. Minimum amount would be 4 days. Take the roast out of the marinade and pat it dry. Drain all of the vegetables out of the broth, and you are going to now make the gravy as well as the sauce for cooking the roast. Take a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil, sear the roast on all 4 sides. Make sure it's nice and brown. Oh, that looks so good. Bit of bacon if you like bacon. In this recipe, I added a little extra bacon. The bacon's optional. And take the strained vegetables and cook them in that oil that was left in the bottom of the pot. You want to thicken those vegetables with some flour and cook the flour for probably about 2 minutes. You want to get the taste of the flour cooked out and you get the vegetables nice and thick. It may look like they're too thick, but don't worry because they will thin out once you add the broth. And also when you simmer the roast to cook it, somehow the marinade seems to also thin somewhat. Once you get it all mixed up, add about 12 ginger snap cookies. That's right, 3 ounces, a quarter a cup of raisins, and either some sugar or a little honey. Now add the roast back into the sauce. Cover the kettle and simmer on low for 4 to 6 hours. If you marinated the roast for 2 weeks, then go ahead and simmer 2 to 4 hours. Once it's done cooking, take the roast out of the kettle and tent it. Set it aside while you make the gravy. The gravy actually is already made. All you have to do is strain out the vegetables and it is ready to go. Taste it, put a little salt, pepper, or even a little sugar in it if you want. Pour the gravy over the roast, slice the roast, and serve it with spätzle, German pancakes, red cabbage, or whatever you like to eat Sauerbraten with. Enjoy this delicious meal, and don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again next week on Grow with Dr. Joe for more delicious recipes. Thank you for watching.